Now I'll just quickly walk you through my setup, and then I'll give you a sample of what I can do with my keynotes, how I've transitioned it from in-person to virtual. So let me take you a bit of a walkthrough. We have the main camera that I'll be speaking to you and addressing you from. We've got another camera. I think it's important to change camera angles to enhance engagement. Otherwise, it's a little bit 2D, it's a little bit flat. The third camera angle I have here, which is for us to be able to get a bit more intimate and get deep into the content. So I'll use this as in the example of my keynote as well, so you can have a bit of a sample. And then on top of this, I think it's important as well, because it's virtual, we've got to engage with the people that are on the call. That's the difference. The more engaged we are with the audience members, the more engaged they will be. So I've set up another camera angle over here for us to be able to get a bit more intimate and personal, where I'm not standing and it's a bit weird. I'm sitting like all of you are, and then we can engage in Q&A over here. So that's just kind of the lay of the land, so you know. And for those of you who are technically inclined as well, I've also got my slides embedded in my switcher here. So we can also still use our slides, and I can throw to my slides and we can do all the fancy stuff there with the slides. So what we'll do now is we'll start with a keynote module of mine, which is titled Influence. So if I bring you to this, it's about influence. But when I do my keynotes, and I want you to experience this virtually now, so I'll switch over to virtual. What I want to talk to you all about now is influence. But before we actually can talk about influence, I need to demonstrate influence so you all can experience it. So again, at this point, I will need a volunteer as well. So I think at this point, I'm going to go with someone who just joined us. I'm going to go with Della Star. So Della, do you mind being a volunteer for this? You just have to turn on your microphone.
Yes, no, I'm ready to help you, and it's Dia. Nice to meet you, Ben.
Oh, Dia, sorry. So
That's
Dia,
okay.
lovely to meet you, Dia. So Dia, what we're going to do is, this is about influence, okay? So I just want you to know it's about influence. So your job is try not to let me influence you. Now, to play the game of influence, we need to actually perform a piece of magic that is one of the most dangerous pieces of magic in the world. And I'm going to share with you what that trick is after you watch this video.
Something that will make you do that is the infamous spike trick.
We're going to raise the stakes a little bit. This time we're going to use nail. See the point right there. Someone hold up their hand.
This modern magic trick increases the chance of injury and pain. An exponent of the spike trick is street magician Chris Korn, who places a metal spike under polystyrene cups and tries to avoid slamming his palm onto the spike even after they're moved around.
Around a bit.
Chris didn't understand how dangerous it was. While rehearsing, I mix up the cups and I see where the spike is.
All right, and look, just so you know, there's no magnets, anything in my hands.
I see him notice where the spike is because of how the trick works. Then he raises his hand real high and slams it down on exactly the cup with the spike underneath it.
Just gonna wave this.
It is terrible to watch. I took no pleasure in that. I mean, I watched it 7 times, but I took no pleasure in it because it is... Oh, God!
1, 2, 3!
And that's what we're going to be doing. So look, Dia, my kind of well-being is in your hands. If you look over here, we've got 3 bags. And in 2 of these bags, these 2 here, it's just a block of wood. But over here, we have a block of wood and also a nail. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'll take this block of wood and put it in this bag, the one with the nail. But you see, right now, the situation isn't very dangerous, or there's no influencing taking place because you know where the nail is. I know where it is. Everyone on this call knows where it is. So I'm going to create a situation where none of you know where it is. So I'm going to take the bags and I'm going to just turn around quickly, and I'm just going to switch them a little bit like so. And what happens is, just by doing that simple motion, now all of you don't know where it is, especially you, Dia. You don't know where it is. Now, the idea is I still know where it is. And my job as a magician, when magicians perform this trick, is because I know where it is, I have to seemingly make you choose a bag that seems like a free choice, but it's not. But it's not. It's about influencing now. I have to influence you to pick the bags that don't have the nail, obviously, and then hopefully the one that's left remaining after that is the one with the nail. So whatever you choose will be final. I just wanted to state that. So Dia, this is bag number 1. This is bag number 2. And this is bag number 3.
Okay.
Which bag, and just let me check as well. So you know that I know. And then I'm going to, good. So again, not to influence you, but would you like bag 1, 2, or 3? It's a complete 3 choice. What would you like?
Then you're stressing me completely out here. Let's just go. I don't know. I don't want you to hurt yourself. I'm going with 2. We're going to go with 2.
2. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, so 2. And
no.
good. Perfect. So, and as I'll mention as well, I will not half-ass this. I will go full. I'll give it both cheeks, if you would. So here we go. Now there are 2. Now, dear, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The chances of getting this wrong now have been elevated. And just in case, I want you to know, if you do feel squirmish, then watch this video just a little bit closer. This is what could happen.
Neither me nor the audience knows where the knife is. And then I make my psychic selection, and if all goes well... Oh! Oh! Ta-da!
The pressure is on. I would like you to make a choice at this point. Would you like bag number 1 or 2?
Let's go with 2.
As in this one or this one? Sorry, 2 over here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a bit awkward. This hasn't really happened before, but you've said it, so you just...
like beating.
Good, fantastic. Let's give her a silent round of applause on there so people can see you clapping. Because this last one, Tia, what's interesting is the last one is the one with the nail. Perfect. So thank you for being such a wonderful volunteer. I appreciate you. You see, the reason why I did this is to share with you that influence is something that is very real. You see this as something that is potentially very dangerous, but it's not, because as a magician, we have to learn how to influence our audience members. And another quick example that you all can play along with, and if you've played this game before, just play along anyway. But I want you all to experience what we just had someone experience just now. I want you all to hold out your right hands. Let's play with this. Hold out your right hands, just like what Dia did before. And then turn your right hand upside down. And then point all your fingers together. Bend your arm 90 degrees. And this next bit, I want all of you to do as quickly as you can, but please don't hurt yourself. Quickly as you can, take your fingertips. Everyone go to your cheek. And then have a look at everyone and say, that's not your cheek, that's your chin. Right, so this is a game of influence. It's a game of influence. And I do this to prove one point. One of my early mentors, his name is David Griggs, shared this with me. And when he shared this with me, it profoundly changed my life. And this is relevant in our times now more than ever. And he said a very simple line. He said, Vin, you can see the effects of influence. This is why this next statement is true. You are the direct reflection of the top 5 people you spend time with. You're the direct reflection of the top 5 people you spend time with. That's who you are. But you see, that lesson that he shared, it's relevant in assessing who we are in the present. It's not as useful when we're looking into the future. So when we're thinking about it with a future perspective, what it means is you can control who you become in the future by deciding who you spend time with today. And I'd love to share with you, one of the biggest reasons I'm even a speaker is because of this lesson. I've wanted to be a speaker now for easily 10 years. I started to really love this career path in 2010. And I remember I asked David, and I said, David, what do I do? And David goes, Vin, look, it's very simple. If you want to be a speaker, bring a speaker into your top 5. So then I started to Google, and the stalking began. And I found a gentleman, his name is Matthew Mihilovich. If you look here, Matthew is an amazing entrepreneur. He's an amazing speaker in Australia. And I flew to Sydney to watch him speak. And the moment I saw him speak, I was like, yes, I need to get this man's attention. So I sent him an email every single 8 days, just so that every week he'll get the email on a different day. You gotta keep things really fresh. And what happened next was about 6 months of sending him emails, he then blocked me. And I just thought an entrepreneur would reward persistence, but he didn't. So what I did next was I kind of went a little bit crazy, and it was about early 2014, I kind of went a bit crazy, and I purchased 1,000 of his books. And my wife was pissed. Oh yeah. But then I got his attention because I took a photo of this and I wrote a handwritten letter because I could no longer email it to him. And then I sent it to him in the mail. And about a week later, he called me. And when he called me, the first words he said to me were, he called me and he goes, "Vin, you cheeky bastard. Next week, I'll give you an hour of my time." Long story short, Matthew and I became great friends. And the reason I'm even here is because of Matthew. Matthew actually took me to Poland, his home country, for 4 weeks to teach me how to build my speaking career here in the United States of America. You see, this is Matthew and I here. He completely changed my world. And the reason I'm sharing this with all of you, especially in this kind of context right now, is your top 5 is more relevant than ever. You know, as a speaker, I can tell you now that I'm spending my time with speakers who are pushing themselves to innovate in this space, in the speaking space, to go virtually, to create something that our managers and our agents can actually put forward to our clients. And if I spent time with another group of speakers who just, again, don't believe in virtual and are just going to wait till things get back to normal, that will dictate the way I act. It's going to dictate the way I act. And the reason I'm sharing all of this is I think I want to connect it to something broader. And what I want to connect it to is that we all know that in common wisdom, it's our beliefs that dictate our actions. So we know that our beliefs dictate our actions. We know that our beliefs dictate our actions, but what we have to ask ourselves during this time is, well, where do our beliefs come from? Where do our beliefs come from? And what people don't realize is that our beliefs that we have about what's possible in our industry, our beliefs about what we think is possible for ourselves, our beliefs, they come from our top 5. The top 5 people right now in your circle, whatever they believe is possible, you believe is possible. Whatever they believe isn't possible, you believe isn't possible. So to me, I think, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, it's so important that you spend time with the right top 5. Because they're going to dictate your beliefs, which will dictate your actions. I would not have this entire setup if it wasn't for my top 5 right now. You're the direct reflection of the top 5 people you spend time with. You can choose who you become in the future by deciding who you spend time with right now. Choose wisely.
Karen, I do think that these are so helpful because Derek, what you're saying, I'm getting some of that too, going, how are they interactive? What do they do? And so when we get a chance as you know, the meeting planners are working with the meeting planners to experience you, that is really helpful for us because then I can better share kind of what this feels like. And I agree with you, Derek, it's so hard for people to be engaged, but when we can really talk to them about that, I mean, you better believe if you're smacking your hand over sacks of nails, I'm not letting my dog disturb me. You know what I'm saying? Like that true feeling of experience. I mean, you have me, you know, mentally engaged and my emotions engaged too. So I know that's hard to do for a full hour, but this type of interactivity is very helpful. And Derek, I know once we experience these things, we can better share that with our clients. So great job, and thanks for letting us hop on today.
No worries, dear. Thank you.